We'll send out the recording later on. So for those on the call who don't know me, my name is Demetrius Washington. So I'm the president of the DFW chapter of National Black MBA. And I am also a local advisor for Forbes BOK, which is where I have had the pleasure of working with our speaker tonight for almost the last year and have had the opportunity to witness kind of firsthand how she speaks, how she leads, how she gives back to the community, not only in Austin, where she is based, but really across our entire national Forbes BOK organization. And as as chapters, were getting together and coming up with this series, and we came to this particular topic, of course, she was at the top of my mind, but I didn't say anything right away. Kind of let the other presidents throw out some names, and our Austin chapter president threw out our speaker tonight's name, and so that just really kind of confirmed that she was the right person for us to bring in for this conversation tonight. And I will give you a little bit of background about Brandi, because again, I do want to kind of go ahead and get us moving along here. And we also had so much on the registration page, so you could see her full bio out there. But Brandi, again, I've had the opportunity to work with for over the past year now. And she is the founder and CEO of her own public relations kind of firm. And it is Brandi Inc., PR, and she'll talk more about that, I'm sure, during this presentation. But she's not only an entrepreneur, she is a mother, a wife. She is a Black MBA, and she is currently pursuing her doctorate degree. Just again, a testament to her level of excellence and dedication to being excellent. So very happy that she was free because clearly she has a lot going on. So happy that she was free and that she agreed to join us tonight. And she came with saying, "Hey, I love these opportunities to give back and help our community grow." So I do want to go ahead and turn it over to our friend Brandi here, so she can do her thing and let you get as much information as you possibly can tonight.
Well, what an intro. I really appreciate it. And being a part of this is always a joy. It's always a pleasure to be able to educate, really and truly educate and develop that wisdom over time and be able to share that. I think that's how we allow our communities to grow, but that's truly how we are able to thrive within our communities. Got to share the wisdom, right? So very excited to speak with you all today and to really talk and unpack further how you can really build on your personal brand online. So let's dive right in. I'm going to, I believe I have yeah, to share my screen here. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay, and can everybody see that?
Yes.
Good there. Okay, perfect. All right. Uh-oh, hold on. Can we still see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we still can. Perfect. All right, awesome, awesome. So of course, our topic for today is building your personal brand online. My name, of course, is Brandi Sims. And again, I'm excited to be here and talk to you all about this topic that I care so much about. Let's see. So get ready. Today, we're going to learn 3 key tips to developing a magnetic personal brand. So at the end of the day, your personal brand is ultimately what makes you unique, and it's what sets you apart from others. So it's very important to not only be aware and understand what your personal brand is, but also how you can leverage on that. So at the end of this presentation, I actually have a gift for you guys. In addition to getting a PDF copy of this slide, I will also be giving you a bonus resource that is, again, going to tie back into everything that we're going to be talking about today, which is personal branding. How can we develop it? How can we foster its improvement? How can we grow? And how can we really be strategic in terms of how our messaging aligns with our personal brand and what we're hoping to achieve, which in this case is attracting potential employers or attracting potential brand partnerships. So I'm going to give you that amazing, amazing bonus resource towards the end, and then we'll talk about that as we continue along. So just a little bit about me. So of course, my name is Brandi. I am the founder of Branding PR, have a 15-year career in communications, PR specifically, digital marketing, as well as PR event planning. I enjoy this career. I love this career, but ultimately what brought me to communications is the idea and the strategy behind storytelling. I absolutely love it. I love talking to people. I love talking to you all. Enjoy opportunities like this where I can educate and really speak on the importance of communications, not only from an organizational standpoint, but also from an individual standpoint. How is your messaging aligning with your goals? And how can you improve? How can you do better? How can you use that voice that you have to do something great with it, right? And that's what I've been able to leverage and be able to be successful in with my career. As Demetrius mentioned, I'm currently a doctoral candidate in strategic media communications, as well as an MBA with the PR, Public Relations Cognate. For those that have worked on their PhD, I know you are feeling or have felt the same way that I'm feeling now, which is burnt out. I'm ready to be done. If I could throw it, I would. But we're gonna get it done. When you start, you got to finish it, right? So definitely glad to continue on with education in that aspect. In addition to the education, of course, I also have won numerous awards for the client results that I've developed with myself along with my team, including Design Rush's top public relations firm. This was back in 2022, and we followed that up with 2023 as well. Addition to that, I've worked with several multiple 7 to 8 figure clients that range from very diverse sectors. They range from tech, beauty, entertainment. I've worked with authors, athletes, nonprofits, even gotten into politics at one point. But working as a PR consultant to help these brands manage their communication, manage their messaging, and overall their image as it relates to the public as well as the media. Because of that work, I've been able to land placements in media for anywhere from national media all the way down to local media, ranging from ABC News, Yahoo Finance, Black Enterprise, Essence, you name it. I've probably had a client or two featured there. But all of this is the culmination of years of results, right? This is a couple examples of different placements that I've earned or earned with my team throughout the years.
Hey,
And as you can
Brandi,
see,
quick
yes,
question. Are your
yes,
slides supposed to be moved? We're still on the first slide.
yes, it is. Are you still on the first slide?
Yes, uh-huh.
Oh, I'm so glad you said something. Okay, so let's see. Let's turn it on back. I'm going to stop the screen share and see. Okay, I think I see what I did wrong there. Let's tweak this real quick. You gotta love technology. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get back on track real fast. Bonus resources, bam, you get a picture of that.
Mhm.
Here's a little bit about me and how I was kind of wrapping up there in terms of the features that I've gotten for clients. And these are the examples that I was telling you about of just different placements that I've earned, as well as my team over the last few years. And again, ranging from local television, print, newspapers, radio, You name it. We've had opportunities and we've secured these opportunities on behalf of our clients so they can do what they do best. And that is speak about their story, speak about the projects that they're working on, speak about how their story can impact the community. All these things are worthwhile, and all of these things are exactly what we look for when we're even vetting our clients. What is your story about? What makes you unique? And how can this be something that can be leveraged and really offer some kind of benefit and value to the community? So before I get into my tips, I definitely want to touch base on what is a personal brand. There's a lot of definitions to it. It's very multi-layered, but how I like to sum up what is a personal brand is this. It's defining and promoting what you stand for as an individual. All of these examples that you see here are what encompass what your personal brand is. It's about purpose. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? What motivates you? What influences you? What encourages you? What inspires you? Your purpose is a big piece of your personal brand. And that's something that you're constantly showcasing whenever you're sharing information, you're sharing more about what you're working on, what you're doing. Overall communications, you always have to have some piece in there and understand that there always is going to be a piece in there. That's your purpose. What is your why and why you're sharing what it is that you're sharing in your personal brand? The second, of course, is your core values. We're all rooted in our values, right? From birth on, we develop these values from our family, our friends, our colleagues. And over time, we either retain some of those values or we drop off some, or we inherit others that we may not have had or grown up with. But your core values are also something that speaks within your personal brand. And it's something that, again, ties into your identity, who you are. And it's something that can always be referenced as a part of your overall brand, and what makes you you, in addition to your purpose. The third, of course, is your personal strengths. What is that thing that makes you unique? That you constantly get complimented for? What is something that, hey, this is what I'm really, really good at? That's your personal strength. You know it based on the feedback that you've received, the performance that you give. Those are your personal strengths. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical, it could be your personality. Maybe you're very funny. Maybe you have the gift of gab. I know that's usually a common phrase to those that have that gift. But play into those personal strengths. But your personal strengths are going to be a big part of your personal brand too. Your skills. What can you do? This ties directly into your strengths as well. But your skills, it's a little bit more practical. It's a little bit more specific. What is it that you can do and how do you do it well? And how can you show to your audience that you can do this well? It's important to be aware of your personal skills and how they contribute to a team, how they influence a team, but ultimately how they elevate a team. Those personal skills are things that you're going to absolutely be communicating within your brand and all tie in. Credibility, education being the specific part here. Your credibility is often tied into your education. And it doesn't necessarily mean your your degree or your PhD or anything like that, but it is some type of certification, some training that you've received to be able to know how to do what you do and to do what you do well. Again, tying into credibility, when people are looking for speakers, they're looking for opportunities, they're looking for individuals that they want to bring on. The first thing they're going to verify is your credibility as an individual, as a professional. They want to see that you can do the work and you can do the job to its full extent. So credibility is a big piece of your personal brand. How are you letting people know that you are a credible source of information? Especially, and this is just kind of on my mind now, talking about speakers. If you want to show yourself as a credible speaker, you have to show what is your example of your work, your training, your certification, your practice to be able to get to the point that you're at today to do what you can do. And then finally, you have your tangible brand elements. So this is specifically your tangible elements, your logo, your website. What are the resources that people have that can tie directly to you, that communicate visually what is your personal brand? These things are important to have, they're important to maintain. I can tell you definitely when we have calls with our prospect clients or even existing clients, we have those conversations very early on. Do you have a website? Great. What's the link? Do you have a social media? Okay, let's see the link, because we do audits. We do audits because many times when we're working with media, the first thing that they're going to ask for is they're going to ask for your website. They want to see what your digital footprint is. And if it doesn't exist, they're likely to pass on to someone else. And mainly because they want to be able to see that you are active online. They want to see that you are active in your space and in your industry. That's why, they're reaching out to you to get your quote, to get information, to work with you. They need to be able to verify this. And tangible brand elements is something that ties into your personal brand that can help communicate that. All of these things are aspects of developing a strong personal brand. You have to be clear on each of these areas if you want to get the best results, which is a perfect segue to jump right into our 3 steps. So before I get in my 3 steps, show of hands, how many of you have a personal brand? Oh, got my earring there. And definitely use the emoji. It's there to help. Okay, I see 2 right here. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to just tell you this now. Every hand should be raised. You all have personal brands, whether you agree or like it or not, you do have a personal brand. And it kind of goes back to the phrase of, PR is something that is a constant. Whether you're speaking or not, you are showing who you are showing up, and you are sharing a message. Now, what that message entails, it's kind of up to you. But silence, speaking a lot, engaging a lot, all of those things are communicating very different messages to the individuals that you're speaking to. So every hand should be raised when asked what is a personal, or if you have a personal brand, because you all do. Now, what we want to hone in on is how you can not only understand what your personal brand is, but also leverage that. So that's going to be my first point. It's understanding and leveraging what makes you unique. To truly leverage your personal brand, you got to first be willing to assess the key characteristics that make you unique. What makes you special, right? This is the thing that you have to ask yourself. What are the things that I'm known for? Right? What are the things that people constantly reach out to me for? Oh, that's the funny one. I know I can reach out and get a really great joke from them. Or, oh, that's the one that handles this project really well. I'm going to reach out to them. What are those things that you're constantly known for? And really think broadly on this. From personality, are there things you're constantly complimented for? Like, oh, you always make people feel very welcome. You're very personable, right? Or you're very direct and you keep us on track. Those are the types of characteristics and things that make you unique. And those are actually, again, going back to personal strengths, those are your strengths. Those are your personal skills that tie directly into your personal brand. That could be something you can absolutely be leveraging upon. So who are you? And this is a very specific question, but really, who are you? The best way to do this and really understand this and break it down would be by starting in a very solid summary. And what I like to personally do and what I like to recommend to clients is think of it like your 30-second elevator pitch. Everybody knows the elevator pitch. You only have 30 seconds. You're in the elevator with them and you have to pitch your product, yourself, your services, whatever. You just have that time. So think of those bullets, those things that you can sell, and you can sell very quickly because you only have 30 seconds, right? Apply that to developing the who are you, right? Have a brief statement. Think 2 to 3 sentences that you can put together that define who you are. You could start with, you know, I'm this person, this is my title, my education, I have this much experience, I enjoy doing these things. Those are some just basic things you can include in these statements. But remember, this is an opportunity for you to really sell yourself. And especially in terms of employers, they want to hear about you in a bite-sized version. So practicing and summarizing in a brief statement, just who are you, is going to be crucial for this. This is one way that you can really tap in and really recognize, not only understand and recognize, but also leverage, the things that make you unique. And who better to know what's unique about you than yourself? You know those things. So now it's time to tap in and use those things to your advantage so that you can leverage on them. The next thing is, what do you offer? This ties directly into your skills, your expertise, your personality traits, all those things that people find value in. If you're a funny person, okay, you add humor into things. That's something that you could tie into your messaging as well as your personal brand. We go to certain pages because we know we're going to get a good laugh. I think earlier before we started the call and just casually talking, we're talking about Instagram pages of corporate, I think, Erin, and just how funny some of her posts are. That's probably her personality. But you see, in those instances, I believe she has well over 1 million followers. She's been able to leverage her personality within her brand to develop opportunities that she probably would have never had she not considered that as an option, right? If funny is your thing, use that to your advantage and leverage it. If being stern or direct is your thing, use that to leverage those opportunities. But the main thing is it's really honing in on exactly do you offer, and then leveraging and turning that up a notch so that people are aware that you have something, you have a gift, you have something that can be beneficial not only for that team but also for the people around you. And then of course, we got to ask again, what makes you unique? Okay? And this is where you have to really dig deep. What makes you special? I meet with a lot of people all the time, between traveling, between working 2 offices, having one in Oklahoma, having one in Austin. And one thing that is always a constant, especially in prospect calls, is everybody feels very special. Everybody feels very special. But when you ask them what makes him unique, they can't come up with anything. The same thing applies to employment and employers, right? They want to know, okay, what makes you special? Okay, well, I work hard and I do this. Okay, and so does the other guy that's waiting in line for this job too. I want to hear what makes you unique. Is it those skills? And what have you been able to do with those skills to leverage upon that? You're the funny person. Were you able to turn that into something, an opportunity? Do you have a case study that you can present of your work? These are the things that matter. And these are also things you should be thinking of that others can't really duplicate. They can't duplicate what you offer and what you bring to the table because it's so unique to you. The simplest way to say this is, as you're kind of breaking this down, is to always remember that, first of all, right out the gate, you're already unique in and of itself because there's no person in the world like you. There's only you. Nobody has the same ideas as you. Nobody can come up with things the way that you do. It might be similar, but it's not going to be quite you because it's not you, right? So start off with that attitude and the rest will start to work itself out. But really start to break it down and really think, what are the things that make me unique? What are those things that I can leverage on? Who am I as a person, as an individual? How can I share that in a brief summary, in a brief statement where I can just, as soon as somebody tells me to go on, I can immediately jump in and get right to it. And then start to work through that as you continue on in your outreach. So the second tip I have for you today is how to specifically engage with your audience. Now, this is a crucial step to developing a powerful brand. You got to know your audience, not only knowing the audience, but you also have to know how to engage your audience. So the first thing, do you know your target audience? So it's important to really think about this and consider this because, especially in terms of, again, I know employment is a really big thing for this particular call. You have to think, if you're looking for a particular role in an industry, what does that person look like? What does that audience look like? Where are they engaging with potential employees? Are they on social media or are they online? Is it more in person, face to face? You really have to start to develop almost a profile of this individual and understand that it could be more than one profile. Typically with our agreements and with our projects, we have clients that'll have anywhere from 3 to 5 target client or target customers, I should say. And all are very different and have a different style. And thus, because they have a different approach and a different style, we have to communicate to them differently. What works for something or someone on LinkedIn is not going to necessarily be the same for a TikTok, right? It's all about knowing your target audience. Where is that person at, and how can I properly engage them so that I can drive interest in what I have to offer and what I have available and what I can do for them. The second is you want to reposition your brand specifically as one that can be leveraged. Okay. So, for one thing, you definitely want to make sure that you have something to offer. So, that goes back to the first step. We have to identify what makes you unique, outline that, be specific, make sure that you're communicating that information within your platforms, whether it be online, social media, when you're meeting with people, when you're going to networking events, be very clear about what it is that you offer, what you do. Once you've established that, now it's time to engage in those audiences with the information that you have on yourself and that targeted and very specific information that makes you very unique, and leverage on that when you're engaging with these audiences. The final thing is, how are you interacting with your target audience? Okay, it's not enough to just create profiles. It's not enough to just be somewhere. You have to be engaging with people. This is really, really important because even on the social media side of things, that was one that we learned very, very early on as a company, that it's not enough to just share content, but we have to be sharing content and engaging with people. So when I say engagement, I'm meaning, like, are you commenting on people's pages? Are you liking people's pages? Are you offering any insight, any feedback, any new information to add to conversations? Or are you just simply regurgitating what everybody else is saying? Because that can be flagged too. And that's not going to get you the results that you're looking for. It's not going to get you the interest that you're looking for. So be very specific in that. How are you going to interact with your ideal target audience? If you're looking for employment opportunities, I can definitely say going to workshops, going to professional development events, those are great ways to find folks, because most of the time, those are the ones that are sponsoring the events. So likely you're going to find the CEO, HR, VP, you name it, at those events that are wanting to make sure that the event goes well, but also be the namesake of the organization that's sponsoring it. Those are the people that you want to interact with, but you have to engage with them. You can't just be anywhere. You have to actually be an active participant and involved in your success. So I'm going to show you this example, kind of speaking on engaging your audience. Here's an example of our page, and this was taken just a little while ago, actually. And this is when we had to make a strategy shift on our Instagram page for branding PR. And it was because we noticed that we weren't getting any type of engagement at all, at all. And as you can see here, we've got a great post. We're talking about communication as a whole, the importance of it, the effectiveness of it. But as you can see, and you can zoom right in there, it's like one like. And it was consistent for us. We were getting 1 or 2 likes, great content, but just in terms of engagement. It was until we actually kind of dug deep, looked into our insights, and found that the reason why people aren't engaging is because we don't engage with them. All we were doing for a point was just sharing content. We thought that if we just shared content, push it out there, got people interested, excited, that would be enough to engage them, right? I mean, if you build the content, they will come, right? It doesn't work that way, and especially with this new algorithm. So the key to this and how we were able to shift and turn this around was not only sharing that content that was valuable to our audience, but also engaging with people, commenting, sharing thoughts, not just kind of the bot where it's like a couple hearts or just the generic type of, but actually sharing comments to pages that we wanted to engage with. And the result of that, we ended up increasing our page from, I think, around that time, was maybe around 3,000 followers. We went and increased it to about 10,000. In about 2 months, we were able to do that. I want to say roughly 2 months, we were able to do that. So we went from averaging 1 to 2 likes on our page to 200, 300 likes, 2,500 or 2,500 views and over 100,000 impressions and reach that we were getting consistently on our posts. And it was just making that small tweak. So I really want you to think about this and apply this to your own personal brand. You know, it's not just about sharing your content. Your content is great. Love it. Keep doing that, especially if you're a thought leader and really presenting valuable information that people need to be aware of and want to know about. But just tweak it a little bit and add to this that you need to be engaging with your audience. You're not going to be able to reach the results that you are wanting to achieve without engaging with people. And with whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, it doesn't matter. You've got to be willing to engage with people. You also have to understand who your target audience is, because the area that you are engaging with people, it might not be where your audience is. So all of these things tie directly into each other. You have to understand your target, really do your research, find where that person is or your persons, and engage them effectively and engage them consistently so that you can reach those results that you're looking for and get the interest that you're looking for. All right, I know we're coming up on time, so I'm going to speed on through. So the final tip that I have for you today is being a clear communicator. So most personal brands fail and lack engagement by not being very clear on who they are and what they offer to their followers. Are you sharing your content that's consistent with your personal brand? The reason why I ask this question is because many brands that reach out to us needing some support here are challenged with this exact thing. Okay, we're sharing the content, but we're not getting any interest. And then we're also engaging, so it's not that. So what's going on? What's happening here? Okay, well, first we got to look at, okay, who's your target audience? What information are you sharing to them? If the information and the content that you're sharing isn't consistent with your target, that's probably the basis of your problem. You're engaging people that aren't interested in what you offer. You have to tweak that, because otherwise you're essentially shooting blanks. You're not going to get anywhere. You have to be considering what type of content that I'm sharing and how am I positioning myself to attract the person that I want to be able to engage with. If you're sharing, for example, content that is more for foodies, right? You're sharing content for foodies, but you're really looking for HR people. You see where there's like a miss there in the communication? Okay, great. I know you for foodie, but you don't talk about any of your HR work or that you are interested or even work with HR people. You see how it can be confusing in that message that someone that is just happening to look at your page and interested in what you offer, they're going to say, "Oh, well, you're more of a foodie, you're not really into this stuff, so I'll just kind of go on and find a page that's more consistent with the type of information that I'm looking for." Make sense? I'm just saying. The other thing is, are you sharing on the best channels? So kind of what I touched base on a little bit earlier in the second tip is, a lot of the times you might not be, and you may have not considered that maybe you're not on the right platform. All platforms are not created equal. There's a very different vibe, a very different style in each of them. Starting with LinkedIn, it's very much a business platform. So if you're looking for employment opportunities, it's kind of why I put it at the top of the list. That's where you should be going. It is booming. But HR professionals are specifically going on these social media platforms to recruit. Facebook, Instagram, not so much. TikTok, even more so, not so much. But you have to really consider, in terms of your overall personal brand, what is the best channel that I can be communicating on so I can get the best results? Who am I targeting and who do I want to engage further? And it's really looking at each of these platforms and seeing what they have to offer, and then also doing your research. Where is your person? Are they heavy on LinkedIn and not so much Facebook? Okay, then obviously you need to be getting on LinkedIn and you need to be building your strategy and your communications behind it. Or maybe your person is more Instagram and TikTok. Shift your strategy that way. Either way, you definitely need to define and be very clear in your communication of who are you communicating to and where they're at, and making sure you're on the right platforms to where you can get the most results for what you're looking for. Now, I can tell you just in a quick case study, worked with this client several years ago and still continue to do work with them to this day. It was a music company. And one of the things that they reached out to for us is their challenge with communication on their platform. People didn't understand their company. Essentially, their company was an indie-based music company, but they helped to support indie artists by offering resources and guidance and things like that. But oftentimes they would get people that were more interested in booking shows and things like that. Not quite what they did. So what we did is we took that information that they had and we broke it down and we asked these very questions that I'm asking you now. Where are you sharing your content? One of the primary sources that they were sharing their content was, I believe at that time, it was on like Twitter. Well, we were able to do our research and we found that the highest percentage of engagement for their specific target audience was actually on Facebook. And it was surprising because Facebook, okay, I mean, more family friendly, I guess, to an extent, right? But apparently they did have a large indie hub and a lot of musicians were going on there, and a lot of musicians were going on there specifically asking for the things that this company was looking for: resources, assistance, guidance. So making that small tweak for them resulted in higher volume in terms of their booking. They were getting more consistent clients coming in that were looking for their specific service, much less of the booking agent type of thing. They were able to understand effectively what they actually offered. Those types of things and those stories are exactly the types of things that you have to really think about in terms of being a clear communicator. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know your audience, if you don't know the right platforms, you're missing out. And this is where you can do a better job by doing your research. Is this the place that I can share my message and I'm going to get connected with the right individual, the target audience that I'm looking for? Is this the space for them? Is this where they're congregating? Is this where they want to be engaged? And tweaking it as you need to, as you build on your personal brand. But it's important to be a clear communicator. You have to be very clear on what it is that you offer and what you don't offer. If your content is specifically towards this industry in this space, it should reflect that. You shouldn't have people coming to your page and being like, I'm not quite, what is it that you do now? Okay, you do that? Okay, I don't see anything about that on here. That's a problem with the communication. And this directly ties into your personal brand. All right, so just a quick recap. First step, understand and leverage, okay? Who are you? Remember, what makes you unique? You start here, and this is where you'll start to understand how to leverage your personal brand. The second, engage your target audience. Don't just post just the post. Make sure that you're not only sharing engaging content, but you're actually engaging with people. They want to talk to you. They want to hear your thoughts. They want to hear your insights. They want to hear from you. And they definitely want to see what all you offer and can bring to the table in these spaces and in these conversations. How are you engaging with your target audience? Both your target and your current one. Be a clear communicator. Third tip. Are you sharing your content consistently, and are you sharing it consistent with your personal brand? Doesn't make sense to be a foodie if you really want to be attracting HR. Be clear. What is it, the type of information that you want to share and that you want to provide to your audience? And then the rest, go from there. So congratulations, we made it to the end. So if you implement all of these key steps, you're going to be on track to developing a magnetic personal brand that is going to attract not only employers, but potential opportunities for you. Can't tell you how many times I've had clients say that, oh, because I made these small tweaks, I was able to get this speaking engagement, or I was able to get this opportunity. All in making the effort and putting forth the investment of your time and making these things happen. Your magnetic brand is there. Just implement these steps and you'll get there. So no, I know I mentioned earlier that I had some bonus resources for you. So I want you to take a screenshot if you can, or if you want to type in that link, it's there as well. But I have a bonus resource for you. It is the Branding PR Success Secrets, my 5 steps to getting press. And these are great opportunities for you to take, especially in terms of leveraging your personal brand. These are the types of things that in the 15 years that I've worked in this space have been able to apply, to educate on, to see amazing results on, and I want to share that with you. So definitely follow that link or scan that link there and get access to that resource. It's totally free. You download it, super easy, and start implementing these so you can reach your goals today. All right, so I know we only have a couple minutes, Demetrius, I'm sure you're going to pop on any second now, but we do have some time for questions. So what questions do you have about building your personal brand?
And I'll say, I know we got started late, and as long as you are available to take questions, feel free. Uh, you know,
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
I love
I
what
definitely
you,
got some time.
yeah, and I'll just share personally. Last year I worked a lot on my own personal brand, and still continue to work on it. Just yesterday, in fact, I did some of what you were talking about, being a clear communicator. I put a message on my Facebook, saying, "Hey, look, I know I do a lot of stuff, and y'all kind of see glimpses of it here on Facebook or IG. But if you really want to know like the professional stuff that I'm doing, you need to go and follow me on LinkedIn because that's where
Mm.
all of that information is going to be. That's where every executive in my company they follow me when I post on LinkedIn. As my CEO is the first person to like it usually. Um, and so it is very important that you are clear and consistent, and you do have, or I'll say I have different target audiences on these different platforms. My Facebook is mostly my family, people I grew up with in my hometown. But when it's business, that's LinkedIn. IG, I'm just on there to play around, share little memes and stuff. So it's all very different, but it's all me.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. And that's the important thing to be aware of too, is that every platform, it's a different vibe, it's a different style. And how you're going to approach people there is going to be very different to how you'll approach on other accounts. There can be somewhat of a consistent messaging in each of the platforms, right? In terms of your personal brand, because your personal brand is always going to be that foundational element, right? But you're going to share different things on those platforms. So whereas you might be more personal on an Instagram or Facebook page, you might be a little bit more strict, more conservative, more corporate in the LinkedIn space, right? I had a client a few weeks ago. We did a media training, and that was kind of one of the things that we discussed is being comfortable in their authenticity. The best way I could describe her is she's kind of a mix toss up of Cardi B and gosh, I can't think of this other person, but that should tell you a little bit of what you need to know. Very vibrant, very bold, but often like that doesn't apply in every space, right? And so how I explained it to her was that, listen, I don't want you to change who you are. I want you to live and be as authentically you as possible. I'm big on uniqueness. It's important because there's no sense of trying to be like everybody else when there's already that. I want to see what's new. I want to see what's fresh. And guess what? That's what the media wants to see too. That's what opportunities want to see. They want to see something they haven't seen before, right? And that's what you can bring to the table. It's just you have to be cognizant of your space. Would I be cussing on an interview with Oprah? I won't cuss at all in interviews, and I encourage my clients to do the same. But you're interviewing with Oprah. If you're with Joe Rogan, it might be a very different situation, right? Because he's a little bit more lax, his style is a little bit more lax, and they're just shooting, the stuff all the time. And see, I wasn't going to cuss even there. But The point is that you have to understand that with each of these platforms, you are going to share content very differently compared to other platforms, and that's perfectly fine. The main thing is to always maintain the consistency of the foundation that is your brand and who you are. What are the values? What are the uniqueness? What is that approach that you have to this? And that's what's going to help you as you navigate the terrain. And then also preface too, that every platform isn't going to be for you. You don't need to be on every platform. You need to be on the platform that's the most effective towards your goals. I have several clients work with several different brands where their focus is only on Instagram. Work with some where LinkedIn, that's their focus. They have platforms or have other pages on different platforms, but where they invest most of their budget, their time and their energy will be on a specific platform because that's the one where they're getting the most return. But that's also where their target audience is. So it makes sense. So you have to really assess and just determine, and of course, research is always good too and important. What is the best place that you need to be going to find your target audience and how are you engaging there? I was going to say
Awesome.
I'm in the hot seat right now, but it doesn't feel so hot.
Right.
Okay, we got another
There's a
question.
question.
Oh, okay. I guess that's me. Hi, I'm Del Julian. Thank you very much for sharing
Hi.
tips. So, as an introvert and relatively shy person, what advice do you have for those of us who are reluctant to share their opinions in such a public way?
Absolutely. Oh, this is such a good question. So, as an introvert, how can you really leverage your personal brand and your personality? Okay, so introverts, I love it. I love it because as you can see, I am not. But what I will say is one of the like easy tips that I like to share, especially for introverts, is kind of again playing back to the uniqueness. You need to be doing something that makes you stand out. So for example, one thing that I suggest, especially in terms of networking opportunities, networking events, especially for introverts, is to one, go in to the event or go into this opportunity, this space, no name tag. The reason why I don't do that is because it forces people to have a conversation with you or want to talk to you because you're the one with no name tag. Everybody else got a name tag. Why didn't you have a name tag? Right? It forces people to come to you and start the conversation as opposed to you getting to the event and having to go, okay, I'm gonna be a little frog, keep hopping on the lily pad, see which one sticks and works out. That little tweak can help attract and almost kind of create a magnet towards you. Another way is wearing something not provocative. I'm not going to say that, but definitely make wearing colors that will make you stand out. Red is like my favorite color. That's why it's in our branding. It's in everything. I love it. Okay. But I also wear other colors. But I like the boldness that red brings, but a lot of people won't wear it because it's so bold. I try to do things that will make me stand out because again, the goal here is that you want to be a magnet essentially. You want people to be attracted and come to you and see what you've got going on. This can very much be communicated not only in person and networking opportunities, but it can be communicated on your online and personal brand. What are the things that you can do to attract people and have them asking those questions like, well, everybody else is doing this, but you're doing this. So what do you have going on? I'm interested. I'm intrigued, right? Start to lay out what are those really unique qualities that you bring to the table in addition to being an introvert, because that's something unique in and of itself because there's so many of us introverts, but y'all are always so quiet. See, we want to hear from introverts. What is it that you're doing? What are you working on? How do you see the world from your perspective? I think it would be cool to see for you, especially in your online personal brand, and this is kind of me just kind of talking loosely, but I like jokes. I'm funny. Like I crack up most of the time. Humor is my thing. And I would love to see, a personal brand where, especially from an introvert perspective, sharing just what the world again looks like to them, right? What does the world look like to you and how you can joke about, look at these people just run around and just talking their heads off, and this is where the real party's at, and this is where the real conversations are happening. Like that could be something that could tie into humor. That could be something that ties into other people where they would engage with you because it's something that we can all relate to. And introverts especially can relate to. They can relate to what you go through and your experiences and that perspective. That could be something that you could use there. But definitely the name of the game, I believe that it is going to help you, is you have to find those opportunities and those things that will make you stand out. So that way you are just kind of becoming a magnet and they're coming to you, as opposed to you having to get out of your box and go to them. Absolutely not. Make them come to you, right? They need to come see me. They need to see who I am and ask questions. Don't wear that name tag. Take that thing off, especially if they've got the little sticker box. Like, oh yeah, you write it here. I skip right over that. Make them come to you. Start that conversation that way, and the rest will all flow for you. I hope that answers your question.
It does, groovy. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Of course. All right.
Any other questions? All right. So some people have to go. Some people have already left. We again recorded this, and let me tell y'all something about Brandi. And we will share those bonus tips but just for this event, it was everywhere. I saw it in all kinds of stuff I never even heard of before, because Brandi was promoting it, and so she knows what she's talking about. We will definitely share those tips. We'll share the recording for those who were here and those who were not able to make it. But this has been awesome. Lots of great nuggets for us to take away to improve our own personal brands. So again, Brandi, thank you so much for taking the time out. And everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Sure.
you.